Can't be so long in between visits, man.
We can't be so long in between. But one more point if I can. Brother Kanye asked the question, was slavery a choice? Mm-hmm. Very disrespectful question when you know what we've been through in these streets. He must never heard of Nat Turner and what he did, paying the ultimate sacrifice. He never heard of Denmark Vesey and what he did. Mm-hmm. He never heard of Gabriel Prosser and what he did. He must have never heard of the Stonewall Rebellion. He must have never heard when Queen Mother Harriet said slavery was the closest thing next to hell. He must have never heard of all those black women who suffocated and drowned their babies on purpose so they would never have to live as slaves. He must have never heard of Igbo landing when a group of enslaved Africans got off the boat in Georgia. Guess what they did? And there's a marker down there with the chain still on their body. They turned around and walked back into the water, every last one of them, and gave their life rather than live as slaves. See, the problem is we have too many politically uneducated celebrities speaking for the community. And the problem, Envy and Charlemagne, is the fact that we no longer have a black middle-class bourgeoisie. The gatekeepers are gone. Sharpton's gone. Jesse's gone. Congressional Black Caucus no longer holds the sway. Urban League, NAACP no longer holds the sway. So guess what the white power structure going to do now? They're going to start using black celebrities to represent the opinion of black folks. And I'm very concerned about that because the average rapper is politically uneducated. The average celebrity, actor, entertainer, they are politically uneducated. And even the ones who are politically educated may not have the courage to speak truth to power. So my question to Kanye is you don't have the right to ask that question when you didn't even marry a black woman. You don't have a right to ask that question dyeing your hair blonde. You don't have a right to ask that question wearing white Jesus pieces around your neck. You don't have a right to ask that question when you in the White House hugging Donald Trump, telling that man you love him. What do you love so much about the orange man? What has he done to make you love him? So we have to hold our entertainers accountable because they're running around making a mockery out of the rest of us. But I would say to everyone, support the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. God willing, we hope to be operational, if not by this summer, definitely by next. Go to drumarjohnson.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Umar Johnson, and we're going to change the course of history with this school.
Talk black to me, Dr. Umar, as Vicky Dillard says. You know, it's going to be funny. I love when Dr. Umar leaves and I get to look at the reactions of social media. Because he be having people so up in the
That's because most people are not used to a black male with a traditional European education. I have my doctorate, my master's, all of that. Speaking truth to power the way that I do. Normally when you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon.
One last point. I want him to clear this up.
Sure.
Atlanta Black Star reported that there was a time that your credentials were under investigation.
Okay, let's talk about that.
What's your response to that? They said you didn't have the proper license to be a psychologist and you could lose your credentials in Pennsylvania.
Okay, I don't hold a psychology license because I never pursued it.
Okay.
Psychology, like any other discipline, once you do your pre-doc intern and you do your dissertation, you get your doctorate, which is what I have. If you want to get licensed, you have to go to work for an additional year, 1,750 hours in Pennsylvania. You're basically working under a licensed psychologist, and then you take your exam and you get your license. I never took the exam. I never did the postdoc hours. Why not? Because I'm a certified school psychologist. That's where I've made my name. That's where most of my work was done. So I made a decision after I got my doctorate that it's really not necessary to pursue my license because my school psychologist certification is what gives me the legal prerogative to go into schools and evaluate children. But the reason they questioned my credential in the first place is, once again, how could he dare talk like that if he really had that paperwork? And the irony of me not having the credentials is you can call the university and find out if I graduated from there, they will tell you that. So it's nothing mysterious about this. It's not a secret society. You contact the university and find out. But after being a certified school psychologist for 20 years now, with the thousands of kids that I've saved, there's no black man in America separate from an institution who has saved more black boys from the psychoacademic Holocaust, from prison, from miseducation, from psychiatric medication, from special education, from juvenile detention. You can't name one who's done more to save our children than I have. I've educated a whole generation of black parents on how to fight the system. And speaking of that, I'm going to become the president. There's a strong chance I'm going to become the president of the New York City chapter of our organization, the National Independent Black Parent Association, where we're going to train parents and organize them on how to bring change in the schools in 7 main areas: Envy, special ed, school discipline, school finance, school policy, parent advocacy, homeschooling, and social support. We need that because we don't have enough Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy schools right now. So we got to educate the parents where they are. And if there's anyone watching this who want to host a training in their state, because 2020, I'm going to every state in America, y'all. And I'm going to train the black parents who want to be trained on the art of how to deal with the schools. What is autism? What is a learning disability? What is an evaluation? What is an IEP? And what states can you exempt your child from vaccinations in order to attend public and charter school? What's the difference between public school, charter school, independent school, parochial school? How to write a letter when you disagree with the school? What to do when the teacher tell you got to put your child on drugs? We're going to educate every parent who wants to be educated in these 50 states this year. So if you're interested, go to drumarjohnson.com, get in contact with me. But the black parent revolution begins now.
Okay, final question, I promise.
Sure.
Do you like the conversations that we're having that are elevating
I got to give y'all a lot of credit. Y'all changed the game on that. Because before the Breakfast Club start bringing in conscious personalities, Honorable Minister Farrakhan, rest in peace Dick Gregory, mentor of mine, before y'all did that, most of the popular and hip-hop and grassroots music, sports, and entertainment-oriented shows, they didn't touch us. They didn't touch us. But once y'all did that, they said, whoa, them boys getting as much views as everybody else. Look at that Dr. Umar. Damn. So then they started hitting us. So y'all have made it comfortable and popular for entertainment radio to now have conversations with politics. And that was strong. I give y'all kudos for that.
Well, what about mental health?
Mental health. I wanted to say this to you because I know you're pushing the mental health, which is good. We have mental health issues in the black community. But Charlamagne, you got to be careful for a couple reasons. Number one, for black people, mental health is all about medicine. They don't give a damn about us.
Yeah, they want to just put us on medication.
They want to push Ritalin, Adderall, Concerta, Cyclert, Risperdal, Depakote, Prozac, Paxil. So when you say mental health for black folks, Envy, you have to make sure you're talking about traditional talk therapy.
That's right.
Don't let them push them pills. Remember now, it was the psychologists who came up with the philosophical and theoretical rationale for segregation. A lot of people don't know this. Who was Adolf Hitler's propaganda minister? A psychologist by the name of Joseph Goebbels. Go to South Africa. Who engineered the apartheid regime? A white psychologist. Come to America. Who engineered and justified separate but equal and black inferiority and white superiority? It was psychologists. Henry H. Goddard at the top of that list and others. So the reason black people don't search out mental health, Charlamagne, ain't because we don't want it. But we recognize that the mental health establishment played a significant role in the destabilization of the black community. Did you know that up until 1965, 38 states didn't let black people have kids or get married if your IQ score was beneath a certain number? You see, and not only that, even if you come to me for therapy, Envy, if you tell me something that is potentially incriminating, by law, I have to break the therapist-client privilege and tell on you. So a lot of black mothers who need therapy ain't going